Hi guys, welcome to Rise Up a Beamy Being. As you've heard me say, the human being is killing you. Someone asked me, what do I think about the future? 30 years ago, I got a channeled message and it was talking about Armageddon. And it was about dark souls and light souls. At the time I was writing it, I used to think this is a bit over the top. I don't think this is anything to do with spirituality. Come forward 30 years and now I can see what it meant. So we are in a Armageddon between religions, between politicians, between people. It's really sad. It really gets me really. So where do I see the future? It's not very good for anybody. Literally. I think everybody has become dumb to the very fact of who we are, what we are, where we live in the universe. You know, we're spinning around on a paradise spaceship. It's incredible. And I look at my life and I sort of think to myself, my God, could it have been so different? Why does it have to be so terrible? Such a struggle. Human beings and religion have become a disgrace. The one chance, the one time, the one story, the one journey to say that we actually lived on a planet, in a solar system that we don't really know where it's going. And then let's come back to Earth. Look at the shit. It's awful. We're in a killing field. We live on a killing field because nobody gets off the planet. It's all here. The history is beneath our feet. It's dripping in blood. So who and what is really poisoning Mother Earth? War after war. There's always been a war. It's like we've come to do our military service here on this planet. We didn't come here for a holiday, that's for sure. We must have come here for some form of training. You know, could you survive? Can you survive? In a world of where people have just lost the plot. We're actually a civilization where humans hate humans. And that's the truth. What the fuck are we doing? Back in 1999, the turn of the year 2000, spirituality, love, an explosion of consciousness, an awakening was happening on the planet. So back in the 2000, we all sort of thought it's going somewhere. People are finding themselves. People are starting to study themselves. They're starting to understand what does it mean to be alive. I was one of them people. You was one of them people. But how did that happen? It happened because there was a signal. There was a frequency that was put into our bodies to ignite, to awaken to the tune of what was the universe saying. And the universe was saying, wake the fuck up, because you're all idiots. Spirituality for me is when I was at that point in my journey, when I looked at myself and went, Trev, you're an idiot, mate. The way you treat yourself, the way you treat people, the way you treat life, as if it doesn't matter. You don't really care for it. So I was an idiot. I just did idiotic things. And anything connected to that human program is idiotic. But on that spiritual journey of awakening, I was growing. A lot of people were growing because they were starting to understand the gift of healing, because healing is the very thing that's missing on the planet. So when I talk about depression and the dark night of the soul, that's just one form of healing, which was a battle in itself. Going beyond that, well, I look at the world and I look at so-called religions and what they believe in and what they're supposed to be promoting. I think, what the fuck? Because I look at the world and I say, okay, your religions have been here for a long time. Let's have a look at the state of the world, shall we? It's not very good, is it? It doesn't matter what spirituality is all about. We're never going to evolve. But in that awakening from that year 2000, I thought everything was going to grow. And it was. There was a big explosion. I'll tell you what happened. The darkness, the people, the dark souls that rule this planet and control us and keep us in slavery, they knew we was awakening. So when you see the slaves awakening, what do you think darkness does? Starts to trap them, starts to bring them in, starts to create a war, starts to create a division. So therefore, let them fight amongst themselves. Once they're fighting amongst themselves, we can just sit in the background and implement the next step. Because it's always going to come in the form of steps. So against all the religions, I'm bringing mine. It's called Beism. To believe in myself that is connected to the greater self, connected to the very thing that created everything on this planet. I am part of that. I suggest you look at it and ask yourself, are you part of that? Did you come from the great all? And of course you did. Beism for me was, I stepped out of this 28 years ago. When I saw things starting to change and I started to awaken, I didn't want to pull away from life. But now when I look at it, oh my God, my soul was saving me. As I am trying to help you to save yourself in a world of humans that have actually gone mad. Where do I see humans in the future? Very much controlled. They'll have no sense of the soul. They'll have no sense of their own spirit. They'll have no sense of belief in themselves as being greater than the very thing called a human being. We've got AI that's coming. And AI for me means to awaken that intelligence, because that's what we've been doing for the last 25 years. Awakening intelligence. I mean real sense of intelligence, emotional intelligence. To be able to master the mind is intelligence. So are we going to carry on? Just keep being idiots. Just allow things to happen in the way that they happen. And so therefore, future generation, future generated souls immediately will be enslaved into a world that serves them no purpose. And so therefore, what we've got is very much a demonic race. The human mind has become demonic. So depression and the dark night of the soul is not the end of your story. It's the end of that story. So life has become very serious. We haven't got time to be idiot. Idiot's not going to work. Let them do that job, because it's the idiots that support the darkness as to be the way forward. So who do we believe? Beism. I suggest you start believing in yourself. So the power and the gift of 4 letters, be me. The ultimate truth of life. Because be meism is my faith, is my religion. Now 20 years ago, where was that coming from? I had no idea. But awakening to my true self, communicating still with spirit, wow, that's a whole new box of tricks. So whilst you're caught in that human programming, you're missing your entire spiritual journey. My name is MBK. I'll see you on the other side. Take care.